Hello, my name is Jay. This is my Diabetes Miracle Cure review. This product has completely changed my entire life. I've been living with diabetes for the past 10 years now, and I'm finally starting to feel like myself again. It's like a huge burden has been lifted off me, and I feel like a totally new person. When I first heard about this product, I have to admit, I was skeptical at first, and I didn't know what to expect. Up until that point, I had tried everything you can think of to keep my diabetes under control, and nothing seemed to be working. I tried every medication, every natural remedy, and I spent countless hours researching new ways to keep my blood sugar under control, but nothing worked. Luckily, a good friend of mine referred me to this product, and this has been one of the best decisions I've made in my life. From the moment I started using this product, my symptoms slowly started to disappear day by day until I was back to normal again. The diabetes is completely gone now. I feel so much stronger and much more healthier. It's unbelievable. I feel like all my dreams and prayers have finally been answered. Thank you so much. Now come on. Objections and rebuttals? I can't afford it right now. I think you'll be very shocked at just how affordable this product actually is. And look at all the benefits. This is not an ongoing medication you have to take for life or painful procedures that are only temporary. This is an actual cure for diabetes, and you can't put a price on your health. How do I know this will work? This product has helped over 30,000 people so far, and it's been proven to work. Plus, it's completely natural and safe to use. So you're not putting any harmful chemicals into your body or doing any damage to yourself, which means you have nothing to lose. I've tried every other product on the market. Why have I never heard of this one? Great question. You haven't heard of this product because that's exactly how the medical industry wants to keep it. They make billions from diabetic medications, so doctors will not tell you about products like this or publicize them because that takes money away from their fortune. Finally, as my experience, you will be a new person with this product. You can get it now from the link below.
Hi, my name is Ricky Everett. On October 14th, 2012, my blood sugar was measured at an astounding 1200, and I slipped into a diabetic coma, which my doctors said there was an 85% chance I'd never come out of. Yet, just a few months later, there I was, running in one of the U.S.'s most difficult marathons, where I finished first in my entire age division, and being declared 100% diabetes-free by a team of medical doctors, all of whom were completely baffled by what they were seeing.
Hello there, everybody. My name is Ryan, and this is my Diabetes Destroyer review. Diabetes Destroyer by David Andrews is a naturally pure cure to diabetes. The three-step pancreas jumpstart trick reverses diabetes in 11 days. I highly recommend with this miracle to get rid of diabetes and a coma. No more diabetes symptoms and signs, no more diabetes coma, no more painful insulin injections. Click to the link below.
Thanks for watching. If you're ready to take action, click the link in the description below this video now.